Hey guys, this is Denise again with Baby Go Home Care. I'm so glad y'all are here today because today we're going to be talking about the miracle of birth and what that does to our bodies. So please stay tuned. I'm going to also talk to you about what to expect when you go home. I call it the next 2-week rule. So stick around and I'll be happy to share that information. So back to the miracle of birth and how our bodies get ready. It's pretty amazing what God gets us through. And so I just want y'all to sit down, get comfortable, because this is going to be, I guess, a religious video. Absolutely. I believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, and I believe He puts those beautiful babies in our tummies to bring out love, peace, and joy, and patience, and kindness, and goodness, and for us to spread His word. So over the last 23 years that I've been a labor nurse, I love my job. And one of the things that I love is that I'm able to bring a new life into the world and to help a mother through that most difficult time in her life, something that she will never forget. Y'all will never forget it. It is magical, it's overwhelming, it's exhausting, it's peaceful, it's spiritual, but most of all, I will tell you exactly how God really gets our bodies ready for it. So the first one is, number one, which all moms, they're to be, understand this. Why do I go to the bathroom all the time? Well, it's just that simple. God wants, you're going to the bathroom maybe 2-3 times a night. Sometimes you literally feel like you are sleeping on the toilet every 2 to 3 hours. And instead of just going to the toilet and taking a little TT, coming back, you are changing a diaper, you are breastfeeding, you're probably cleaning your sheets because you've got milk everywhere. And then you may get to go to the bathroom, have a snack, and then you go back to bed. And about 40 minutes later, guess what? You're doing it all over again. Breastfeeding, changing a diaper, cleaning up the spit up. So He's kind of getting you ready for that path. And that's what He's doing, because you couldn't do that without that. I have a great friend that was able to adopt a baby girl a couple of years ago. And we did everything we could think of to help her to get ready. She's one of our nurses. And I love her dearly. And, I said the biggest thing, that's going to be hard is that you don't realize how much sleep you don't get. And I cannot stress this enough. And so we tried to explain it to her. And, when she came back off of her maternity leave, what I said, she actually pulled me in the hall and almost shook me and goes, she's like, Denise, you should have told me, like you really should have told me. This was crazy. I don't ever sleep. And I said, no, you don't. I said, that's how God helps us get ready. And she wasn't able to do that. She wasn't able to stay up every night and worried about the babies moving and not getting enough sleep. It just hit her like a ton of bricks. And she's a great mother, but she realized that, oh my gosh, I am not ready to not sleep. And that is the biggest thing that moms talk about. I can't get enough rest. I'm so exhausted. So He starts us off little by little, not going to the bathroom, and then you feel your baby hiccuping, and then you feel your baby kicking at night, because basically at night they are awake because you're being still, and during the daytime they are asleep. And that's kind of part of also my 2-week rule, is that it takes about 2 weeks for them to go from nights to days, but we'll get back to that later. The second one is how our body gets ready, is that God made man and woman, and for us to connect. And about 36 weeks or maybe 38 weeks, your doctor will say, hey, it's time to do your homework. And what that means is that you need to get your cervix ready. And the only true thing I can tell you that honestly works to have your body starting to cervical ripening and things like that, your doctor's going to talk to you about, is semen. A man's semen is supposed to meant to help a woman's cervix thin out. We have 3 things when we look for when we are doing a badge exam. 1 is that you dilate, 2 is that the cervix is thinning out, and the 3 is the station of the head. So that is basically how God made it work. And so about 36, 38 weeks, you'll start having intercourse, and you're gonna go, oh my gosh, I'm cramping, or my stomach hurts. And you even will be having sex, and you may even start leaking breast milk, and that is perfectly normal because these are connected to your uterus, and that's how that works. That's the second way how God kind of gets us all ready, and he knows what he's doing. The third thing is, I think that's pretty magical, is that, and you may not think so, but your body starts to swell. Now, if it's swelling way before it's time to have a baby and you're not in the hospital, that's something you probably need to definitely talk to your doctor about and let him watch that, or your midwife, or your clinic, wherever you're going. But swelling during delivery, what happens is that we give you all sorts of fluids. We give you, your fluids for your epidural, and then maybe some Pitocin or oxytocin to help you. And then afterwards, we give you some fluids to help you deliver. And you got all this extra volume. You're like, my gosh, why am I so swollen? And it takes, honestly, about 2 weeks for all that to kind of slough off. Because in about 2 weeks, moms call me all the time and go, hey, Denise, my breast, I don't think I'm not having enough. And I'm like, well, it's been about 2 weeks. Have you started increasing your water? And they're like, no. And I was like, well, as a rule, you have 1 breastfeeding, 1 bottle, or 1 pitcher of water. Because if you have all this extra volume for about 2 weeks, and that kind of helps you get going, and then you start to kind of dry up. And you're also stressed. And those are 3 reasons why our breasts dry up. Is 1 is stress, mental and physical, which I can't help you with. That's just part of it, and we're going to have to pray about that one because that's hard. Your body's physically stressed from having a baby, and mentally you're overwhelmed. The second one is pumping. We don't really recommend pumping. Pumps are for babies that are maybe in ICU, and mom's going back to work. And even if they aren't in ICU, or you can't be with them, or if you're having problems, then we recommend actually hand pumping, not a machine. Your baby's not a machine. It will never suck like a machine. A hand pump is more sensitive, and you can manage that more like a baby latching on. So the third reason why our breasts dry up is what we've been talking about, is dehydration. So you need water. If somebody's sucking you dry, you have to have volume. You have to have volume to give volume. So if your baby is decreasing its weight, and the doctors are kind of worried, and the jaundice is not really kind of going away, then we need more volume. So you either give more volume by you drinking water or giving volume. The pediatrician may say, okay, we need to put them in for an IV. If your baby, an ounce of Enfamil or Similac, just to kind of get that going. And just a little tip on Similac and Enfamil. Similac is right now a WIC certified, and it has about 100 calories for the general bottle. And Enfamil is 120 calories, which has a little bit more. And I do recommend, if you're needing volume, your baby's losing weight, then definitely go with 120 calorie. They have something called Gentle Ease, and I will put that information in a link, as well as, like I said, we need water. So he gives you all this volume, which you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't, why is that going away? Well, don't even try to let it go away. It's going to take about 2 weeks. Don't go on a diet, don't exercise, because that's more stress for your body. It will eventually come off. And you breastfeeding, that is your best diet plan. That baby's going to suck you dry, and you're going to lose those calories. So that's what you're for. He helps you, he connects you, gets you back together, gets you back in shape, you think, and he's making you healthier. He's giving you what you need. Another thing that I think is pretty cool, I would say it's more, I guess, the fourth thing, is that when a mom is pushing, and she's been in labor for, I don't know, a good day, and we've been pushing now for like about an hour, and it's getting closer, and we call the doctor in, and we're getting everything ready, and she's up in stirrups. She'll do a set of pushes, and we'll just say relax, and just kind of let your body go limp, and moms will snore. They will really go limp. They will relax, and the grandmas will go, don't go to sleep, you got to push. And we're like, no, let her rest, because her body is getting ready for that next big push to deliver that head and those shoulders. So it's pretty awesome that you think you're going, oh, I'd be so nervous, I'm not going to be able to contain myself. But when you're in that zone and you're focusing on that, God allows you to be calm and to focus and save all your energy for the time of the birth, which is awesome. And so that is one of the things I think I see every day, is that moms just kind of like compose themselves and go, yes, I can do this, and they get ready and they go and they deliver. Another thing that I see when we're delivering, which is pretty awesome, is that I kind of can tell you when a mom's about to deliver, because we check her temperature about every 2 hours, and more when they're pushing. But you'll start to kind of get what I call a low grade temp, like right at 99.9, maybe right at 100 or 99.8, because your body's heating up. And what I think is so awesome about that is whatever you do, your baby does. So if you get a fever, baby gets a fever. If your blood pressure drops, baby's drops. You know, same things like that. So if you're warm, if you're about 99, that baby is born and the doctor holds it up. It's wet and cold, so it drops to 98, and they're bringing them over. So now they're almost like probably 97 degrees, because their temperature can change in just a matter of seconds. And then you've been hot and you're 99 and you're sweating and you're warm. We put that baby back on you, and with that skin to skin, heats that baby up and calms them down. So those are 3 of the great things. It regulates the baby's temperature. You don't have to have a warmer. If mom's warm enough, that's going to be all that baby needs. It'll also regulate the baby's sugar level, because they're not screaming and not mad because we just took them away. We got back to mom, we're good, we're safe. And so we're not screaming and yelling, burning that sugar, so our sugar's not going to drop. It also regulates the heart rate and respirations. I've seen it time and time again when I'm either the nursery nurse or the labor nurse, that baby's grunting and retracting or flaring. And we're like, okay, well, let's just get them back to mom. And all the flaring and the grunting, it stops, because they're like, I'm back home, I'm back with mom. It's amazing that the body, that the baby knows to do that. It, to me, it's just, you know, it's a miracle that you have that great bond. And then when the babies come down, they don't have to have that fight or flight response. They know that they're loved and they're going to be taken care of. And then they kind of start looking around and going, wait a minute, okay, I'm back, I'm safe, and wait a minute, I smell, what is that I smell? I smell my amniotic fluid. It's on their hands and stuff, but what's awesome is that your amniotic fluid smells just like your colostrum. And as soon as that doctor delivers that placenta, guess what? You're going to kind of start leaking. I can see moms leak sometimes when they're pushing. It's not even time. Or moms leak, you know, while they're doing their homework with their intercourse, and their body's getting ready for that. The uterus is contracting. And so once you deliver that placenta, we turn that the drip back on, or we let it, you know, just contract back down, and then that milk or that colostrum comes in. And that's awesome, because you know, that skin to skin is what calms them down, and they're able to look around and they're able to breastfeed. And honestly, that happens in that beautiful, you know, everything goes perfect. That baby's gonna latch on for about 45 minutes and get a good, great breastfeeding. The first one is the best one. So that's why we do a magic hour. And honestly, I should think it should be a magic 3 hours, you know. Grandmas I know, and dads and cousins and aunts and sisters are going to be mad, because they're like, I want to hold the baby, and they're waiting, they're rushing. They've waited 9 months or 10 months, excuse me. What's, you know, another hour, because that's the most important thing, is that bond and that baby getting a good latch. That's what moms really want, is to make sure that once that baby comes out, that they're giving everything they can to that beautiful baby boy or girl. And so tell them, just wait a minute. This is the most important thing. This is it's like a wedding picture. It's a one-time deal. We can't go back and do it again. This is the only time we have to do that, to get it right, to get everything going and to calm that baby down. So that to me is a miracle in itself, that all of those steps are perfectly come back together when that baby's back with you. So that was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. And so I guess the 10th thing I can say that's pretty impressive that our Lord gives us when we're mothers is that He gives us that mommy gut feeling, that you are connected to that baby. From before they're out of your tummy, for multiple weeks, you will feel them. It's pretty cool that I had a good friend, another friend that just had a baby, and you know, the dad was over there trying to get the baby to wake up, and he's kind of moving him, and he is dead out. And the mom, she had a C-section, and she kind of stands up and she goes, oh, And that baby all of a sudden just starts moving and starts crying because mom was in pain. That baby felt that mom. And she was like, oh, he's awake. And two things just happened then. One, she focused on that baby and not on her pain. And then she knew to go, it was time for that baby. The same thing when you're hurting, say for instance, you're like, man, I just want to take a breastfeed and just go back to sleep. I'm so tired. And he's crying and I can't get him latched on and I'm hurting and I'm tired. They won't latch on. They will not latch on if they know you're hurting, because they're like, wait, something's not right. My mom is hurting. You know, I'm not sure what to do here. And they kind of get fussy and agitated, and then you're going to get agitated because you're like, all I want to do is breastfeed. So this is where moms, you know, we get our patience. We kind of remain calm, and they sense that. They know that everything is okay. And they'll go, wait a minute, okay, everything's okay, and I'm gonna latch on now. Mom's not upset, she's not hurting, and then you enjoy each other, you bond, you feed off each other. Another thing you'll have moms say, you know, that they went to the grocery store and they heard a baby cry and the breast milk just kind of let down. That is the same thing. You're connected to a baby crying, you sense that. I had a pretty cool experience when I had a time with my son. I was taking a shower and my husband was outside, I think pretty close to the car, and there was music going on in the house, and I think lots of noise and people were over, and I heard him cry. And there's no physical way I could hear him cry, but I did. I heard him cry. I felt that he needed me, and my breast kind of got tingly, like something's going on. And I grabbed a towel and I said, what's going on? Why is he crying? And I said, I don't know. I said, just give me my baby, because I knew that baby needed me. And I didn't care who else was there. I didn't care what they saw me in the shower or not. It was time for me to take my baby, and I felt that gut instinct said something was wrong. Now, I will tell you, this is the only, get out of the dog house ticket I'll give dads or family members that are helping you, is that only mom can feel that. God put that baby in mommy's tummy, and dad doesn't know when that baby's crying. He can't sense it, but you know, you're in the bed going, you can't hear that? She or he's just crying. You don't know that? He doesn't. God didn't give him that. But you are more than welcome to shove him and go, guess what? It's your turn, or throw a shoe at him and go, wake up. It's time for you to get up and take care of him for a few minutes. But I will tell you, that's the only one. You're like, how do men not hear that from babies? They don't. Dads don't have that mama gut feeling when something is wrong. So I hope you enjoyed my view on the miracle of birth and how God gives us these gifts to give to our children. I am grateful that God has worked through people. He works through me for you. I am a nurse that wants to take care of you and to help you and to guide you, and I know it's hard. It is. When people say it doesn't take one person to take care of a child, it takes a village. You're right, it does. It takes moms and dads and grandparents and daycare workers and church workers and lactation consultants and people maybe on Facebook or YouTube videos. Information is so important, and to help you don't know who you're going to bond with and who's going to help you the most. Just because one mom or a friend may say, well, this is what I did, this is what worked, it may not work. It may take you talking or visiting or learning about 6 different things and go, okay, this worked for this baby. And guess what? It may not work for the next baby. So it takes all of us to help a mom and to help a baby and to bond. Word of the Lord. They are there to help us. If we are taught to be good and kind and selfless, and that is what mothers need to do for other mothers. Motherhood is hard, and I believe, you know, every little bit helps. You know, God, you know, gave you this beautiful gift of life in your tummy, and God says, you know, to be fruitful and to increase in numbers, to fill the earth, because our children are a blessing, and we have them to spread the word of the Lord. We are taught to be good and kind and selfless, and that is what mothers need to do for other mothers. Motherhood is hard, and I believe, you know, every little bit helps. You know, don't feel like you're all alone, because you are not. And when you are having a hard time at home and you are overwhelmed, you know, I always say, before you lose your mind, go in the bathroom, scream, pray. If that baby's out there crying, that baby is alive. You take 2 seconds to get your bearings, do what you've got to do, pray, scream, cry, I don't know, wash your face, do whatever, and come back in. And that baby will go, okay, Mom, it's okay, we got this, we can do this, and they will sense that you're calmer. So before you lose your mind, and I guess as it goes along going, you know, I never want anybody to shake your baby to help this. You have to have that strength. You have to have that peace in your heart. And God gives you that to do this, because it is hard. And I can't imagine doing it without help from everybody, your whole family, your whole village, you know, and your church. So today I appreciate y'all with me. I hope this helps you, and stay tuned. And also, like I said, I am going to talk about what I call the 2-week rule, what to expect when you go home. So stay tuned or click below, and thank y'all, and y'all have a great evening.